Hi, welcome back to the Genetic Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lulu, and this week, Sherry Anna Boyle discusses her new book, Emotional Detox Now, 135 practices to renew your mind, heart, and spirit, and her simple yet profound 7-step process, the cleanse method, for clearing emotions that are bottled up in the emotional and physical body. Sherry Anna is the founder of Emotional Detox Coaching, author of 9 books, including her new book, as well as Emotional Detox and Emotional Detox for Anxiety. Sherry Anna has been featured in over 90 articles and a featured presenter for renowned organizations such as PESI, Behavioral and Mental Health Education, Kripalu Health and Yoga Center, 1440 Multiversity University, and more. Her book, The 4 Gifts of Anxiety, was endorsed by the National Association of Mental Health. She's an adjunct psychology professor and founder of Emotional Detox Coaching, servicing clients of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities virtually worldwide. Let's tune in and meet our guest. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Genetic Genius Podcast. I'm so thrilled to have my guest today, Sherry Anna Boyle. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yay. I'm so excited to hear all about your book. So before we dive into Emotional Detox Now, I would love for you to just introduce yourself to our listeners and talk a little bit about your inspiration, how you got to be to where you are, and what's your planetary impact, your passions for life.
Sure. So I call myself an emotional detox coach, and I based it on a system I created called Emotional Detox and a process called cleanse. So when I use that term emotional detox, I'm speaking of the foundation, and then cleanse is a process that I teach people. So I do emotional detox coaching. I'm also an adjunct psychology professor. I've written 9 books. The 10th one is coming out 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Congrats.
Thank you. I started out really focusing on anxiety. That was the beginning of my writing career and mindful ways. I'm also a yoga instructor. I've been doing that for well over 20 years now. So I started in my earlier time back in 2012. I published my first book. And it was when I left the school system. I was a school psychologist, and I decided I was going to write a book on if I could do it again, what would it be like? How would I do that job from an educational standpoint, being more mindful, being more present in that book. And then from there, I was actually my journey's different. I was actually approached by a publisher. Talk about being guided. I'm a big fan of that. And it just came to me. I write a lot about manifesting. Actually, my 10th book is all about manifesting.
That's exciting. Let's have you back on for that one.
Yes, that will come out next May. And so anyway, I kind of landed in my lap, and I was like, sure. And it was interesting because they asked me to rewrite a book that already existed. So if people don't know, if you go into traditional publishing and there's another edition of your book, they could put another author on it. It's interesting because you don't really own your rights when you go through traditional publishing. So it was an interesting project because it was almost like taking over something. It was weird.
Yeah.
When I saw what I was rewriting, I was doing the update. I realized I got why they chose me, because they really just wanted it to be more mindfully based. It was more medical kind of terminology and more clinical, and they wanted it to be more relatable. So that's what kind of opened that doorway. And then from there, I was like, I have my own ideas. I can keep writing for you, but I also have some ideas. And then that, of course, opened up for more books.
Wow, great. It sounds like you've been busy writing. That's amazing. Congrats on that. And I can't wait to learn more about your new book and to hear about your upcoming books next year. That's going to be great. And I love the journey and how you talked about being in that place of being guided, which is super important. And as we know with our emotions, as we're going to be really diving deep into today, the emotional soup, so to speak, we're going to really learn about how emotions affect the body. That's great. So let's first talk about your book, because let's us go there, which I'm so excited. So tell us about, and if you can see it behind Sherry-Anna there, and here it is here, the Emotional Detox Now. And so tell us about the book. What was the inspiration behind you writing this book? And this is a sequel, or how is this related to your other book?
I knew that was going to happen. So this is the first book. So this is the first of the sequence. So Emotional Detox, I wrote first. Then I wrote Emotional Detox for Anxiety. I won't bother picking it up and showing you, but it's more of a green. The one that you have that you just held up.
Right. The Emotional Detox Now.
Emotional Detox Now. That was inspired by everybody asking me, okay, they know what an emotional detox is. So this book really gets into what is an emotional detox? What are we detoxing? Why are we detoxing it? How does it impact our lives? It's the core book. Emotional Detox for Anxiety gets specific about anxiety. The Now, Emotional Detox Now, is because everybody kept asking me, well, how do I do this on my own? I want to practice on my own. I feel great when I'm with you, but when I'm not with you, what do I do? So that gives, if you show it again, it's 135 practices. So I'm going to say that word practice are my cleanse system. There's 135 in different categories. There's self, family, work, health, and you get, I think it's 21 practices or something. I can't remember the number exactly now, but in each category. So when things come up, you can use the book as a reference. Oh, there's going to be a cleanse for this. This is what it looks like.
Wow, it's great. I love it. And I'm excited to dive deeper into how to use it, because I think that's a great part. And so it sounds like people can also get the Emotional Detox if they want to learn your other book, if they want to learn more about what that detox is. But you do talk about it in this one as well, which is great.
I do, but it's more in the other books.
Right.
So if you want to know more what it is, but start with the core books. If you're just ready to dive in and start practicing, because I didn't want to repeat. It was really for people who said, just give me the tools. Because some people don't want the fluff. They're just like, just stop explaining it and do it already. Right.
Yes. Yeah. And I found when I was reviewing it, it's the same thing. It's really easy to get into it and use, and we'll talk about how to do that. And so let's talk about what the concept of emotional detox, because let's lay that groundwork, which I think is important. So what is an emotional detox? What does it mean? What is it all about?
Yeah. So an emotional detox is based on a mindset. And I built the mindset. So I didn't get it from anywhere. I built it. Okay. So just be clear. And this is the mindset it was built upon, that all emotions are good so long as they're processed. And again, all emotions are good so long as they're processed. That means guilt, shame, fear, anxiety, sadness. They're all good so long as they're processed. And the other thing it's built upon is all emotions matter so long as they're processed. All your emotions matter. So that is the foundation, because so many of us are focused on, this is a good emotion, this is a bad emotion. We got to fight this. We got to take care of this, control that. And in the emotional detox mindset, that's not what we're doing at all. So we're actually not getting rid of your emotions. This is another one of the mindsets it's built on. We're getting to them. So an emotional detox, I'll repeat that. We're not getting rid of your emotions. We're getting to them. So what are we getting rid of? Reactions. The way that you react, control, manage, shove away, avoid, bury, stir up, project, all of that to what you feel. Once we detox the reactions, then you get then the emotions start to move, right? When emotions start to gain energy and momentum, vibration goes up, consciousness goes up. Now you're connected to intuition. Now you're manifesting. So I always say it's the same steps of an emotional detox are actually the same steps for manifesting. I didn't know that until I started practicing. I was like, oh crap, I'm like manifesting things left and right. And my life is shit. And that's the thing. People think it has to be perfect. When I wrote the core book, Emotional Detox, it includes my I call it my shit show, when my life fell apart, and how an emotional detox helped me get my feet back on the ground again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was manifesting, even though nothing looked perfect.
No, there's not a perfection. It's always our view.
The things is, I think we think, okay, when I lose the weight, when I get money, right, then I'll be able to manifest. No, you're manifesting right now.
Exactly. Every moment we're manifesting, the
Every
moment of
moment.
manifestation. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that explanation. And I like that it's that reaction piece. That's really important. And that you also addressing all the emotions are part of us. If we want to experience them,
All
that,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all good. It helps us to see if everything was all roses, right? All the time, where would we have the contrast, the yin and the yang, the be able to see the other side, how we could improve if we're always in the same. I'm a really happy person. I mean, I'm usually this kind of, but there are not every moment. I need to be able to see, oh yeah, so I can also be happier. Be, like you said, be manifesting even more. I love that. And so with the emotional detox you talked about, what's the difference between that and a physical detox? Are they connected? Because I know detox is such a funny word now. It's so
Right.
mainstream. And what's the difference between those two? Are they connected, or how are they?
They do. They are very similar, because when you think of a physical detox, you're thinking of, okay, I'm cleansing, I'm detoxing the impurities, the chemicals, all of those things, and bringing it to raw. We get an organic apple because we don't want all the pesticides on the apple. We want to get as raw as possible, right? With our food, the more raw it is, the more nutrients it has, the more energy, the fresher the plant, the more energy that you're going to get. So you want to do the same thing with an emotional detox. You want to detox all these reactions and get it as raw and real and authentic as possible. So we want to get to the core emotion. And then once we're there, we start to move that energy. So it is similar. The other way it's similar is that emotional reactivity causes inflammation in the body.
That's right.
Right? The stress response, just like chemicals and pesticides contribute to inflammation in the body. And excuse me, I tickled my throat. So I think they're very similar. Excuse me. I'll let you talk first.
Yeah, you have some water over there.
I don't, but I'll be okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that you made that connection, because when I work with patients too, there's not a disconnect. And I think that we have been in a society that disconnects us, even when social media, it's like we have the different aspects, and our body is one. We have one with the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual body. It's all connected, and they all interact with each other. It's not just like black and white from this form to that form. And I think when we are living more in the emotional body, it allows us to open up more and actually to experience the other forms in a much more broader sense, or enlightening sense, for a better word.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And I tend to work a lot with examples. I don't know if you have any examples of clients and things that you're thinking of, because I think sometimes it is hard to think of, if you hear these concepts and it's, how do I apply that to my life? I get it, but I don't know how to integrate those teachings. And that's why I think Emotional Detox, the core book, did so well, because I shared my personal crisis, which I think so many people can relate to, that crisis. And it allowed them to make it more tangible. So I invite you, if you have any specifics with your audience of what you see, or your clients, how this all can work together.
Yeah, that's great. I'd love for us to talk about the cleansing for inflammation. I think that would be a good one when we get to there in a little bit, because I think I find that that piece is so fascinating, especially when it comes to trauma, pain, like chronic pain, inflammation. It's such a huge piece. Stress with the cortisol response, so connected to that inflammatory piece. And so I think that would be a great place for us to go. I'd love for you to talk too about what happens when we have an emotional kind of like bottleneck, right? Where these emotions are stuck in the side of the body. We're not releasing, like you said, and expressing them. What happens when we don't release them?
Well, again, what happens is they manifest in negative ways. They manifest And just like food, like bloated, weight gain,
Mhm.
discomfort is a big thing. You get very uncomfortable. You can start to get very anxious. You can get depressed, a
Mhm.
lot of panic, a lot of people in a panic mode
Right.
or feeling overwhelmed or out of control. These are all similar symptoms that you would feel if you had anxiety. So whenever you hold something bottled up, it's going to come out,
Right. You
right?
can't cork it for
You,
an
first of all,
eternity, right?
you're not bottling it up,
Right.
right? It is going to manifest in a different form. It could be numbing, it could be shutting down, it could be disconnecting. And all of a sudden, like for me, all of a sudden you stay in those states for long enough and you will get your wake up call.
You're paying attention to your emotions.
It will either be a situation where you maybe get blood results or something. Oh dear.
Mm.
Or somebody says, so this isn't working out for me anymore. And you're like, where'd that come from? And so you will, or maybe not. So when you don't, I guess my point is, if you think you're bottling it up and holding it back, that's all an illusion because it is manifesting. You can't hold anything back. You can't prevent anything. Don't fool yourself. It
Mm.
is manifesting. It's just manifesting in ways that you might not like or you might not want to deal with. Sometimes it can, things around you manifesting too. It affects the environment.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I really appreciated what you said too about you really can't bottle them up. And sometimes we're not aware that have an emotion that we're suppressing or not letting loose expressing, and then it's still all in our environment. We're manifesting it even more, right? The more that we try to suppress it, the more that it manifests. The same with any type of chronic disease. The more you suppress the pain and inflammation, the more it's going to manifest. And so when we're in that state of, okay, let's say I have these emotions that I'm ready to release. Let's talk about your 7-step cleanse process. So what's the cleanse, CLEANSE? And I'd love for you to walk us through the 7-step process. And if you could address the inflammation piece that you have in your book, I think it's on page 286. And
Okay.
I think that would be great for the listeners because I have a lot of listeners who are
Sure.
tuning in with a chronic disease state. And I think especially with the state of stress that we're in on the planet, stress causes a lot of pain in different ways. Inflammation, just in the emotional inflammation.
Yes. And if you have an example of somebody in mind, then I can give a little bit more
Of
information on that. I can tap into that.
Yeah,
So
I can totally do that. I have tons of patients who have inflammation.
All you have to do is bring it in your mind, and then I can get a little bit more deeper. So I think that will be even more valuable.
Yeah, of course.
So in terms of the cleanse, how it came to be. When I went through my emotional crisis, what happens with high levels, so I'm going to call it trauma, right?
Right.
What happens when you get traumatized? Anytime something so frightening occurs, you could be scared yourself, but if you've had a real traumatic experience like I did, what I realized is I went to all these mindful tools because I was a yoga teacher. I was an energy healer. I was like, okay, I have tools here. But honestly, none of them worked. Okay. Which very enlightening for me as a practitioner, as a teacher in all of this, doing this for at that point, like 18 years of my life, teaching these tools. None of them worked.
Yeah,
okay?
That's crazy, right? You're like, okay, I gotta
for me,
make a new one.
yeah. For me, here's why. Because when you're in a state of trauma, it's like being in a fog and you can't think, you can't see your way through, you are stuck and you are in your own way. You just have no clue. If you're just I'm existing. I'm just going through the motions every day. And I'm so traumatized, numb. So then it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I really understood from the inside out how to help people. And that's how cleanse came in because I thought, if I'm in this state, how the hell am I going to remember? Do this, try that. don't forget about that recipe. Don't forget about that. You know what I mean? And I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give it all the middle finger, honestly, because that's what happens when you're in true crisis mode.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, you want to look at somebody, you want to say, you have no idea the pain I'm in. So many people, it's like they have no idea. And cleanse is an acronym. And I was like, okay, they need something they can remember, and it can be quick and it's light. It's not heavy, right? Again, no more fighting. I can't stand it when people say fight stress, beat stress. No, we're not beating anything. You're already beat up enough.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to be able to address stress with a happy face, so to speak. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cleanse was light. It was perfect. That's how it came to be. It
Mhm.
was just like, so C starts for clear reactivity, which is about, okay, I need to tone my vagus nerve, all about that. And then some, and it's simple tools and techniques to help you just take yourself out of fight, flight, or freeze response, okay, or fixed response, or freak out response, as I always say. L is called look inward. We do need to address the emotions. We do need to acknowledge that they exist. We can't just pretend we're in la land here. But there is a certain way that was channeled to me during that time in my life that I have found that is more gentler on our nervous system. So look inward is a statement that I teach people. E is emit, which is vibration. One way that we can do that is to produce sound is vibration, right? It travels through molecules and atoms, and it's very powerful. Not just any sound, but the sound of your own voice is very healing, right? When you sing, when you chant, when you hum, when you make a big sigh, that's producing sound. So powerful. Now we're moving the energy. So now we're at the A. Now we're at activate. Activate means, okay, now I can start to imagine something new. I've allowed myself to feel, I've taken myself out of fight or flight. I'm in a little bit more elevated state. Now I can start to imagine what it is that I'm creating. And is nourished. That's where we allow yourself to, you have to marinate in it a little bit. Some people imagine and then it's out. You got to develop it like a muscle. You got to learn to hold the energy of it in your body, nourish it, sit in it a little while. Don't be so quick. And then S is surrender, right? That's where it's like, okay, there's some things I got to let go of as an addition to be able to open up. That's a statement that I teach people. And then there's so many variations of cleanse. And then E is ease, which is the state of the I am, which is in so many scriptures. And the I am is very powerful words in many different languages and many different cultures. And no matter how you say it, whether it's the Hindu language or the I am means embodying. I am that.
I love that. So easy. All of those steps, I liked what you said. They're very light, right? Easy
They
to
flow,
understand.
and it's like a slide. It's like, okay, here we go down
Right.
the slide, right?
Right. Yes. Yes.
And you land in ground, right? When you're on the ground, you hit the ground from that slide and you're on the ground. You're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. That was fun. I wasn't sure how that was going to be, but that was fun. So that's cleansing feeling can be.
That's great. I really love that. And so in the book with each of those, let's say you're doing cleansing insecurity. I just turned to that one. Maybe I need to work on this one later.
So,
so when
are you, what page?
38. I just turned to 38. So when you're at each of the aspects of the book, the 135, then go through each of those cleanse practices through each of those particular cleansing emotions. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
That's correct. So equally important is the beginning of the practice. I share a story because you have to get to know what you're cleansing. And that story is important. So for example, on page 38, it says, this is cleansing insecurity, everyone. Have you been comparing, measuring your accomplishments, and maybe even your happiness against other people lately? Are you focused on perceived flaws? Do you feel like you're hiding or covering yourself up? Are you keeping yourself small? You can recognize insecurity and parallel low self-esteem by inner tension, irritability, dread, or nervousness. This insecurity can turn into coping. So do you see how hearing the story, it's getting me ready to cleanse? I'm like, okay, I almost have to pull that stuff up. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
you got to elicit it and stir the pot a little bit so that when you enter your cleanse, you're like, okay, know exactly what. Yes, I feel that I can connect to that. I'm going to cleanse it. And if you don't cleanse it for you, then it could be like seeing it in other people. If you feel like, oh, they're so insecure. Oh, they're so angry. Oh, they're so this, that. Guess what? You could really benefit from cleansing because it's probably in you.
Yes, we're all mirrors, right? For everyone around us and ourselves. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Oh, I do a lot of that where I open a book. I'm like, what do I need to work on today? I do that with my own book. And I'm like, oh, insecurity. Okay, I'm going to look at that one later and see what needs to be processed. Yeah, later at my own time. Yes, that's great. So then when you have within the book, there's also 6 different categories, which you mentioned earlier. So it's separated into so the 135 or then separated into could you talk about those 6 different categories? I want to really break it down for our listeners so that they can really when they're listening in and they're like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, that totally relates to me. And I'm ready to buy the book.
So there's 6 categories. There's self and everyday life, love and relationships, family and home, work and community, and health and well-being. Then there's a small category about crisis and tragedies. Okay. So there truly there's 135 cleanses. What I love about the cleanse, I've written 9 books. This is the only one I read myself. Once I write them and I put them out there, I usually never look unless I brush up for an interview. I just don't look at my own book.
It's the same with me. You get it all out there and you're like, okay, now other people can use it.
This is the only one I do. And here's why, because we're such brain people where our brain we start thinking, we get distracted. And even there's just the average person, we just have so much. Don't you find we just have so much going on?
Oh, especially now in 2022, right? Everywhere around us is like busy and you're like, you want to just take a breath,
it's
relax.
I mean, it's okay. The old days, it used to be like, okay, I can open up a business and I can run my business. Now, if you open up a business, you can't have a business if you don't have a website. Oh, okay. Now I have to have a website. Okay. You can't open up a business, let you have social media. Oh, so now I have to have social media. Oh, now I need someone to manage the social media. Oh, and this little thing turns into this million. It's just so
million steps. Yeah.
million things, right? And it can be overwhelming. So what I love about the cleanse is it's a structure. Just, okay, take a pause, go through step 1, read the passage. And it's 5 minutes.
Right. That's great.
5 minutes. That's it of your time. And it just structures me. It just settles me down and says, okay, step 1, step 2, just take some time to process what you feel. And just trust that some people do one at a time. Some people do whatever page they land on. You can also cleanse with your friends and family. Yep. And sit and do that. You can say, hey, I'm going to read one out loud. And this would be a powerful couples therapy thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Get ready for February. Valentine's Day is coming up. So your emotional detox for you with your couple. That's great.
It's powerful to read something out loud.
Yeah, right? Very.
It also slows you down when you read it out loud. You don't read as fast when you read out loud. I recommend saying, if you can, especially certain parts of the cleanses. I hope I answered your question. I feel like I just went all over the place.
No, it was perfect. You did. It was great. Yeah, I wanted, you addressed the 6 categories, which I feel like are an important part of your book because it's the way you break it down within the 135 different cleanses. And let's talk about the inflammatory cleanse, which I thought would just
Okay.
be a great one. And so you asked me to give a
Example. I'm not even going to look at the book.
Yeah. So no, this is great. I have a lot of patients that have chronic pain. It's very common, I think. And from my perspective, it's usually from a trauma piece where they have had some sort of emotional trauma. A lot of times it's back pain, particularly low back, where they're holding things in, and that loss of the power center, that third chakra, and they're holding this like piece of inflammation. So I think that's a great one.
Let's do it this way. If you could focus on one of them.
Yes, I have the person in my mind.
Okay. So focus on one of them. So what you're saying, and that's another thing I encourage people to do when you cleanse. The reason it's called Emotional Detox Now, couple of reasons. All emotional processing happens in the now. You have to be present. Second thing is go to the closest what's ever happening in the now. Because people say, I have so much to cleanse, I don't know where to begin. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Raise your hand if that's true out there. Yes.
Seriously. Right. And I always say, if you're going to go outside of the book and you will learn the practice, and then you can play outside of the book with the same practice, go as closest to the now as you can, and don't try to tackle too many things at once.
Makes total sense.
So you and I are going to focus on one person. So you are thinking of this person has lower back pain. So just close your eyes and think of the person. They have lower back pain. Okay. And what else is going on with this person in terms of
systemic inflammation, like joint pain all over the body, specifically low back, but very hard to move physically. A lot of physical instability, problems with any type of movement brings pain.
Okay, so whenever I hear that level of pain that you're describing, I'm going to use words like extreme reactivity. We're in the extreme realms. I talk about this in the core book, Emotional Detox, that there is, when it comes to reactivity, so the way I define reactivity is how to make the uncomfortable comfortable. We have ranges of that. We have low levels of reactivity, which is most of where we're all functioning. We have medium levels. We have high levels. I'm going to say we have extreme levels.
Exactly.
And low levels, you're aware. You're aware. Okay, I'm having a reaction. I'm aware. I have tools. I'm going to go take a breath. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to, whatever I do to help myself right now, I'm aware of what's happening right here and right now. Medium levels, you're aware. I'm aware I'm tense, but I'm going to just finish these emails.
But no, I never do that.
Take care of the laundry. I'm aware. I still have awareness of what might be a better way to handle it, but I don't do it.
Right.
Okay. High levels of reactivity. I'm not even aware. I am in it. I am ready. I am throwing fists. I am pissed. I am angry. I am sad. My life is falling apart. I am not even aware of anything. Extreme level, chronic levels could be that simply that when I tap into this person, they've been running it for a really long time.
Battery is empty.
And it's been perhaps modeled by other family members for a really long time. Like this feels genetic to me. Does that feel that way? You're the genetic genius.
That's right. Yes, it does. Yeah, there's definitely that genetic component for sure.
Okay, so we don't just inherit blue eyes, blonde hair. I believe we also inherit reactivity. Right?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
I mean,
definitely.
isn't it crazy the way we come in with this temperament, this style? Like you can just be like, oh, yeah, he was hot tempered. Oh, his father was hot tempered. right. Runs in the family. They're always, uptight or whatever. We do inherit. That doesn't mean that you can't cleanse it though.
Exactly. It's not stamped forever.
Exactly. And so when it's these extreme levels, what I like to do with someone who is in a lot of pain is I like to just focus on step one for a little while, right?
That's the C,
the C,
the clear reactivity.
Clear your reactivity. Now, not to say the book wouldn't help because it's gentle and it's simple,
Right.
but if I were with this person, it might just be, let's focus on the C. Let's
Right.
just get you, which you probably do a lot of that in your
Yeah.
own work, right?
Yes.
Let's just learn ways that, and you got to find what works for that person. In the book, I give 50 different ways to do the C, right?
Right.
For that reason, not everything is for everybody. So, but try a little bit of everything. But let's do a little neck stretch together. So this would be a C. Take your right hand on your left shoulder. I should have asked you this before, but is this just audio?
It's video.
Oh,
So
it is
people,
video. Okay.
people can tune in and be watching and doing this too. Yes.
Good. I was just thinking to myself, I don't know if they can see or not. Okay.
Yes.
Now
It's both.
back to center. And I like to sit in the center line. And so again, we're tapping into this individual who's got all of this extreme pain, and left ear, left shoulder. And we're just doing that C, a variation of C, which is clearing that reactivity. And then bring your head back to center. And so then just repeat this statement for me, Dr. Lulu. How I feel in my body right now is, say that.
How I feel in my body right now is.
And then inhale. And exhale. And when I tap into this person's energy, say that.
Oh,
sorry.
I had my eyes closed, everybody.
I always assume people know the cleanse. Okay.
When the cue, when I tap into this person's energy,
If you're thinking of this person, it makes me feel.
it makes me feel.
Inhale. And exhale. I don't know anything about this person, and maybe I don't know the depth that you know this person, but I just feel this enormous sadness, enormous, like I could cry right now. I feel devastation. Would that be accurate? Like,
very,
heartbreaking, devastating kind of energy. And when I feel it, my back and my shoulder, it just feels like I've just been slammed down, right?
Yeah.
Like hit with a ton of, I got the weight of the world on my shoulders. Okay.
Right.
All right. So now let's just tap. Now I know I have the right person.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, good. So we're going to just take another breath and okay. And when I feel, repeat after me, and feeling the weight of the world, say that.
And feeling the weight of the world
Makes me feel.
makes me feel.
Inhale. And exhale. Now I'm going to pause there because I know this person's been through a lot. Okay.
The reader, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hearing extreme loss. So I'm not going to, so we can go right to the next. We don't need to, sometimes people want to fix people, like just cry, right? You don't need to get too far into it. And that's why, again, I love the book because it's so gentle. But so now you and I are going to go into the third step. We're going to do, and again, there's many variations. We're going to do a hum. And I just want to loosen things up a little bit with this person. And then we'll see. Okay. So we're going to inhale. And let's hum together all the way to the bottom of the exhale. Keep humming. Okay. And then release. And okay, we got a little movement here. A little bit of,
a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. A little bit of relief. Let's do it again. We're going to inhale. Okay, release and feel a little bit more relief.
The lighter.
feels lighter now. I feel like this person just needs tons of love and support. I'm glad she's working with you. It's almost, it reminds me of just like putting the oxygen mask on.
Yeah. And a lot of patients come to me for that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really just, it's not even about correcting, just getting the oxygen mask on. And I think what I'm feeling around you is just your presence is enough. Don't try to work overtime,
Right. Yes.
because not that you do. I'm not saying that, but I feel like you need to know you could sit there and just look at someone. It would give them oxygen.
Yes, this is true. Yeah.
It's true. And don't ever minimize it, because I hope you don't mind me saying you might
No.
overdo it.
Yes. Yeah. I trying to not throw too many things at patients at once, but you were saying before, it gets overwhelming. And especially if you're a place where you need the oxygen mask.
It's not that it's wrong or bad. It's unnecessary is what I'm hearing. So I start to channel when I start to move energy, and it's unnecessary. Like, you really are gifted is what they're telling me. And your presence really speaks volumes. So whatever it is, maybe you needed to get that today. So, and I think that's good for audience members to hear, because I think we work too hard.
You feel like we have to do all the steps to feel better when,
just feel, and
Right.
it's enough. It's just enough. Okay. And so then, and then I just want you to say, so we're sitting and we're receiving this energy. Now we're in the A, and the A for this person, which is activate, is really just an image of what it would look like to be in a place where there was just a lot of energy, a lot of oxygen, a lot of light, like nature. I would really be bringing that person to a place where they could stand up tall again.
Yeah.
Where would you just feel, oh, I can connect again. I want to stand up. I don't want to be hunched over anymore. Look, there's too much to see. There's too much beauty. You're going to miss all of this. Come on.
The forest with the trees and the support.
That's what I feel. And that's to activate, right? So now we're lifting vibration. We're starting to stimulate. Well, your life, you are alive. You are here, right? Why not enjoy it? And so then it's, and then it's, so what's after CLEAN?
N is nourish.
Right? We're just marinating. I am alive. I get to have a life. Why not enjoy it? Don't sit at home and just beat yourself up. Enjoy it. Find something that you love to do, and then surrender as I allow. I allow joy. So you say that out loud. I allow joy.
I allow joy.
I allow life.
I allow life.
I allow connection.
I allow connection.
I allow worthiness.
I allow worthiness.
And I allow free.
I allow free.
And then I am is the ease, which is I am worthiness.
I am worthiness.
I am connection.
I am connection.
I am life.
I am life.
I am breath.
I am breath.
And I want to say with this person, I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm alive. And I'm free. The message is you're here. That's the end of this. You're here. You're living. You have breath. You have a body. Be in your body. Enjoy your life.
So true. I love that. Thank you so much for walking us through that. Yes, that was great. And it was such a wonderful, powerful way, not only for the patient, I'm sure we
gave her a little remote healing.
Right. Yes, which was great. And I think also so important for the listeners to feel the process. Like that was a really deep way for people to, connect in, but also like you said, it just took us a few minutes and then we both feel lighter. You can feel the energy moving. The people listening can feel it. It was great. Loved it. Thank you so much. Was perfect. Just so perfect. Let's transition into talking about some things about you and tell us about your amazing membership that you have and how people can get energy cleansing, just like we did. I would think, right? Yes. Each week and yoga exercises that are they in alignment with that same cleansing, or just tell us about the membership. Sounds wonderful.
Sure. Yeah. So my membership is called Be Vibrant. It's on sherryannboyle.com. And it's a membership where, so twice a week on Zoom, we get together and I do exactly what I just did with you, but
Mm-hmm.
I tune into the members in the group and we meet. There's an evening meeting and it's only 30 minutes, right?
Nice. Not a
So
lot of time out
not
of
gonna,
your life.
not gonna take an hour.
Right.
I'm on Zoom for 30 minutes. Believe me, they look like sometimes they want more, but we just keep it to 30 because then people might not show up if they too much, right?
Right. Yeah. People are busy.
And then the next time is and this is Eastern time zone, but I've got two different times to try to accommodate different time zones. And we have
Oh,
all different,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then I teach yoga live twice a week on Zoom.
Wow.
And I record all the yoga. I don't record the cleanses because it's a private membership. Some people say things, personal things in the chat, and I'm
Right.
not going to record that. But I do record the yoga where I also channel and run the cleanse through while we're moving our bodies. And I do yoga a little differently because I'm over 50 and I like to have a little bit of everything. I need a little of everything. So we do a little cardio, we do a little Pilates, and we do yoga, and we always do energy techniques. And I channel messages for everybody in every yoga class. So the message,
Nice.
yeah. So they get a lot. And then we have
Yeah.
special guests. Maybe you could be a special guest.
Oh, I'd love that.
I would love that too. So
Yeah.
I invite people that I meet in the world that I enjoy who have the nutrition part, because I
Mhm.
do think that is and I'm not a nutritionist, but I do believe that is a big part in emotional processing. Food is medicine. So I invite people like you into the community and they get to have, and then we record it and then they have that as well. But what's nice is they get to ask you questions.
Right. Yes. Which is so
So,
fun. I love answering questions.
yeah.
Yeah.
And get, and feel like a private little time with you, which means a lot for
Right.
people who are going through stuff.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that's the Be Vibrant membership.
Nice. Yeah. Be Vibrant. And they can find that on your website at the Sherrianna Boyle, BOYLE.com.
Yeah.
And tell us about, you have an awesome free gift where people can listen to a mind meditation. Tell us about the mind meditation.
So it's called Calm Your Mind Meditation. I just walk you through for about 10 minutes of a light cleanse meditation, nothing too deep and it's just it has neuro beats in it, which are very calming for the
Mm-hmm.
nervous system, right? That helps change your brain waves. So anytime you listen to anything that changes the brain waves, and I always believe everything's about intention when you really connect to what is the intention. So I walk people through that. So that's free. Calm Your Mind Meditation.
That's great. And we'll put that link in the show notes so it'll be really easy for everybody to find. And we have two last things. One, we're going to have one fun last question. And then also we're going to talk about the book giveaway. So for everyone, everyone listening right now, we're going to be having a random winner. So we'll have those instructions in Instagram. So make sure you check it out there. And then we'll have a week when then Sherrianna and myself will pick an amazing winner for the book. And that's going to be so fun. And let's talk about one last question, which I can't wait to hear your answer for this one. So if you had an unlimited budget right now, what would you do to have the biggest impact on the health and welfare of our planet?
Unlimited budget?
Anything. Yeah, there's no sky's the limit.
I think honestly, I would just travel more and reach out and do more service work. If I had unlimited money, then I wouldn't have to, I just would volunteer and teach people how to process what they feel and the value. And I think I just do what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love asking this question because it really allows people to be like, oh yeah, you were talking about manifestation earlier. If we could manifest and we have the unlimited resources all around us, and what would that look like? And I think one of my fun things I want to do is to take all of the ones I've had from the 105 episodes and put them in one episode and just let them like loop, because it's such a great way to manifest for our planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, my children come to mind and I think about, their education and helping them along, because I think young people, I feel for them these days and they need a
Mhm.
hand.
Yeah,
It's not like when you and it's very different for
very
people.
different. Yeah.
And so I think helping other people, I think of my children, and I would love to be able to just help people.
Mm,
Right?
yeah. Yeah. And you're doing that an amazing job with that already in the way that what we just did. And also your membership and your books, those are
Yeah.
going out to the world. And this podcast will go out to everyone around the world too. So you're
Yeah.
you reach out there. Thank you, Shariana, for visiting with us today, talking about your book. It has been such a joy to meet you and hear about everything you're doing.
Thank you. And I just want to say to audience members, if you have not gotten your book, Dr. Lulu, your book is amazing. I
Oh,
have
thank you.
here of her book, and let me tell you, I was blown away at what you put into that book. And I'm not drawn, I get a lot of books. I'm sure you do too, because
Yes, I have a big stack. Yes.
well, I have Just Ask Spirit radio show. So if anybody's interested
Oh,
in,
yes. 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 Your
yeah,
podcast.
tuning in. So I get a lot of books for Just Ask Spirit, but I can't wait to have you on Just Ask Spirit. I know you're coming up because you have a lot to offer.
Yay. Thank you for that plug. And yes, I'm super excited to be on your podcast. And so people can tune in and learn more about my book then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you.